G'day everyone, Amelia the Flying Vet. Yeah, a few people have asked for a video about equine colic, so I thought I'd give you the demo today. I don't have my cameraman today, so just brace yourself for some pretty average selfie mode filming. Basically, equine colic is a colloquial term for gut pain in horses. There's many things that can cause gut pain in horses. Same as with people in the medical field. Colic, yeah, it just means gut pain. Various things can cause your horses to have colic. Eating something they shouldn't have. Sand is a big one, especially out in this region. They can get partial impactions from semi-digested food that's conglomerated into a big ball. They can get gut twists. They can get interceptions where the gut goes into itself. You can also get tumours and various other bits and pieces that can cause your horse to be quite uncomfortable. Signs of colic can vary. Mild signs include your horse just being a bit off, not wanting to eat, sort of flank looking, pawing a little bit, to pawing a lot and rolling, to the point where they're actually throwing themselves on the ground quite violently. The first thing you want to do when you notice your horse has colic is to put it in a yard where you can keep an eye on it. Take away food. If your horse has an obstruction, ingesting food is only going to make it worse. It's kind of similar to if you have a blocked up pipe. If you keep trying to push things down that pipe, it's just going to overflow. It's not going to help the situation. Offer them water. Don't try and force your horse to drink water if they don't want to at the start, especially if they're only mild colicking. You just want to keep an eye on them. If they're still standing up, they're not rolling non-stop, keep an eye on them. Pick up the phone, call me. A few things that you should probably have on hand for your horses for colic situations, and you don't need to spend a lot of money on having yourself prepared for if you need to assist your horse when it has colic. First things first, you want a bucket, preferably probably 5-10 litre bucket. A little easy pour nozzle there is quite handy. You want a funnel. You also want a tube, a nice soft tube with a blunt end in case you have to tube your horse at some point. Only tube your horse if you feel confident in doing so. There are various YouTube videos. I can post one up on my Facebook site for those who want one. You do not want to be tubing horse if you're not confident in doing it. If you're confident, get yourself one of these. Just a nice soft rubber tube, preferably clear, so you can see what's coming in, or more importantly what's coming out of your horse when you put it into its stomach. Yeah, probably no thicker than your thumb, about 1/2 inch wide or so, and about 2 meters long will be more than enough length for you. The most important equipment that you need, anyone with a horse should have, is a twitch. You don't have to spend a lot of money making a twitch. You only need a foot of poly pipe with a hole drilled through the end and some telecom or a little bit of rope to put on your horse's muzzle and twist. Very important when you have a horse that's colicking and you need to tube it, or for any situation where your horse is playing up and you just need them to pause and have a little think while you do what you need to do with your horse. That is my favourite bit of equipment for horses. The most important thing that you can do for colic is prevention. Out here where it's really sandy, obviously you want to avoid letting them consume too much sand. Trying to feed them off the ground or in a container is really important. A lot of people just throw hay on the ground. Probably not the best thing to do. I know sometimes you're in a hurry and that type of thing, and we all will get like that. But yeah, try not to feed your horse on the sandy ground too much. You can also give your horse psyllium husks to get rid of any sand that might be in their stomach. And alternatively, you can also wet down their feed to prevent sand from blowing into it, or when your horses are picking it out of their food bowl, you'll notice that if it's dry, it goes everywhere, all around the ground on it. If you wet it down, it's less likely to do that. Popping them in a feed net as well can be good. Psyllium husk is really handy to have on hand. I tell people to give, especially when it is really dry and sandy, try and give your horse psyllium husks at least once a month. For a standard size horse, you want 500 grams of psyllium husk once daily for 3 days in a row. You can mix that in their feed. You just wet it down and mix it in their hard feed or a nice feed that they normally eat. You can also add a little bit of molasses or honey to make it a bit more palatable, to encourage them to eat it all. And that helps draw the sand out of their intestine. Another thing to do to prevent colic is to regularly worm your horses, probably once every 3 to 4 months. Occasionally, every 2 years, I would change the brand of your drench so that you don't build up resistance. It's also very important to ensure that your horses do have adequate water, because obviously dehydration can affect the stomach ability to digest and will decrease motility. So horses that have been cut off water and then suddenly back on water, and that can also display signs of colic. What else do I need to tell you? Another important thing with your horse when it's colicking, don't panic. I know that's really hard, but you staying calm will help them stay calm. And you can keep your horse upright by walking them slowly. If they're rolling around and won't stop rolling, we'll get them up, walk them slowly, just so that they're not injuring themselves by putting themselves through fences or throwing themselves on the ground if you can. And yeah, give me a call. Hope you found this video handy, and I'll post another one up soon.